Hello. The Divine Code reading for January 21st, pages 455 and 456. We are in the chapter, The Prohibition of Embarrassing Another Person, Evil Gossip, and Tale-Bearing. Topic number 4. It is a terrible sin, even more so than merely tale-bearing, to tell evil gossip. That's Lashon Hara in Hebrew, which is telling a derogatory thing about another person, even though it may be true. What is considered evil gossip? Any information or derogatory statement that would cause harm to another person's body or possessions, or that would cause him anguish or distress if he heard these words, or if he heard it, knew that they were heard by others. This applies whether or not it was told in the presence of the person whom it is about. So if there's the tale-bearing, which is the transmission of data, and that it's kind of like a loose cannon that can go this way, can throw itself this way, throw itself that way, and cause damage wherever. This one is more focused. The Lashon Hara is more focused on causing damage. That's the purpose of what's being said, and that is the focus of what's being done. If someone made such statements about the presence of at least 3 other people, in the presence of at least 3 other people, it can be assumed that the matter will become public knowledge. If one of these 3 people later tells this to another person, it is not considered evil gossip if he does not intend to spread the matter and publicize it further. So if it's already, sort of the information's already public, it's already been brought to the level where it's considered public, then it's not the same. Reiterating it would not be considered as focused at that point. It can still be considered wrong, but it would not be on the level of, it'd be more back into the level of tale-bearing, which is also a grave sin. If one of those Rambam, The Laws of Personal Development, 7.5. But if someone made such a statement before just a few or even many people, and he warned them not to speak to others about the matter, and then one of those people who he spoke to and warned still committed evil gossip if he spreads it further. Sefer Mitzvah Gadol and Haggadot Mamiot Mamioni Shulchan Aruch Harav or Akaim 156:11. Now this might seem odd because it's become such a cliche. Don't tell anyone. Now, obviously, telling someone not to tell someone not to spread it any further doesn't guarantee anything. We're under a assumption that this is like an honor-bound commitment that the people will not spread it further. So if it becomes necessary to tell a few people, and there is a very strong honor bound, the people are part of a police department. In order to function as a police department, that information has to be shared within the department about somebody. It should not go beyond that department, because they're under a honor-bound system at that point, not to spread it further. And if one of those people does spread it further, then he's considered spreading the Lashon Hara. But if you're not on if the people are not the people that the information was spread to was not an honor bound, the person is spreading it amongst the police department that so and so has been seen shoplifting in the past, therefore we have to keep an eye open for this person. The police department might keep the information secure within their department, and therefore that's not considered public. But if the person goes to the barber shop and starts talking about so and so being a shoplifter, there's no honor boundness to the group that they're, even if he don't tell anyone. That there's no reason to expect the people at the barber shop to have the honor commitment not to share the information the way that the police department would have the honor commitment not to share the information. Topic number 5. The sin of one who listens to evil gossip is more severe, and it is punished more than the sin of one who tells it. Rambam, The Laws of Personal Development, 7.3. It affects the person even more who listens to it. It's more subtle. The person doesn't think that they're doing anything wrong. They're just listening to it. It's a very passive thing. There is a strong, obviously the person that's spreading it also listened to it. Therefore, he's kind of adding to what's already happened at that point. But the real pressure point is in what happens when a person hears it. Once they've heard it and it's already doing its work within the person, and spreading it on is just a continuation of that earlier work that's done within the person. Therefore, the place that it needs to be dealt with is in the area of when it's heard. What does the person do? And oftentimes it means kind of shutting the door after the horse has escaped. It's very difficult to keep it under control at that point, but that's the struggle point. Because often a person doesn't even realize that it's evil gossip until they hear it, and even then they have to be able to process it to know whether or not it's under evil gossip or if it's necessary to know the information. So that's the critical point, is when the person hears it. And listening does not mean that he heard it. Listening means he's rattling it over in his mind. That's the rattling it over in the mind where it comes into the person is where we have the guard. Topic number 6. Evil gossip, that was the earlier, and tale-bearing apply whether they are committed in speech or in writing. And see topic 14 below regarding the stories in the public media, and that'll be in tomorrow's reading. Communication of derogatory matters about a person by any method is in the category of tale-bearing and evil gossip. In our days, telephones, text messages, email, and internet make it possible to gossip instantaneously from one end of the road to the other with great numbers of people. For this reason, a person must be especially vigilant to guard himself giving over and accepting any type of gossip where he is using these electronic communication technologies. This includes not only communication by words, but also sharing pictures and videos that convey derogatory information about a person. And this happens so easily in today's internet. I mean, people have friends on Facebook, or they have followers on Twitter, or there's just internet groups that have discussion groups where information can be shared and suddenly hundreds and thousands of people are aware of this information. It spreads so rapidly, and innuendos can be spread so rapidly. And the most bizarre stories come to life, and people believe them because they read it and they see it shared from other people in different directions. It's the same story just being repeated by a different, becomes an echo chamber where it's assumed to be real. And people's reputations are harmed very quickly through this medium. Similarly, if someone publicizes matters of evil gossip, verbally or by other means, without giving any details from whom the information is about, and afterwards he gives hints and signs about whom his gossip is referring to, he is committing tale-bearing and evil gossip. And a lot of this is from the Kafis Kaim, and that's the laws of Recreate, chapter 1. If the person, sometimes we think we can separate out, we can give information. Oh, there's somebody that's been cheating on a spouse, but you don't say who the person is. But then later on, mention, oh, so and so has been acting very, very wrong. Well, we don't say what so and so has been doing, but we know that there's somebody that's been cheating on a spouse, and therefore the connection is made. It's inferred. We don't get away with that. We're not allowed to, say, well, I didn't give it all over at one time. The FDA, they had difficulties because people were selling shark cartilage as a cure for cancer. But they couldn't say on the bottle that this cures cancer. So what they would do is they would sell the shark cartilage, bottles of shark cartilage, pills. And then next to it, they would have brochures talking about how sharks don't get cancer. Now, if the two are side by side, but they don't have the name of the shark cartilage on the brochure, and the brochure does not say anything about cancer, it just says this is shark cartilage. They kind of play this game where they say, well, we never said this. Well, the fact is they did say it. It's very obvious what's being said, and anybody who looks at it's going to know, it's going to be able to connect the two things together. So the same thing is true here in evil gossip. If we put out the different pieces of information, they're right there, and any sensible person can see that it's connected, then obviously we have to take responsibility for the total message. We can't just play a game and act like we're innocent. If he tells the gossip without saying who it is about, but he knows with certainty that the identity of the person he is referring to will be known in a matter of course, this is also evil gossip. So if he's giving details of information about something, that the information will come out to some extent, and when it comes out, the details that he's giving will add to the story, then he is involved in the evil gossip there too. Topic number 7. The prohibition of evil gossip and tale-bearing applies when it is the intention of the gossiper to harm another person's body or possessions, or to embarrass him with his words, or even when he simply wants to publicize the matter. and he has pleasure from its designation of others, has pleasure from the denigration of others. However, it is permissible to relate a prohibited or negative action committed by a person if someone to someone whom it is proper to tell, in order that he should be able to influence the wayward person to act in a proper way. This is only on the condition that it was told in a way that reflects his intentions for the good for that other person. Klafis Kaim, Laws of Lashon Hara, Chapter 4. So, if someone honestly wants to help, someone is cheating on a spouse, and he relates information that is designated in such a way that it's trying to prevent the inappropriate behavior. He is allowed to do that, even though he is, in a certain sense, he's committing sin, but it's the idea of doing this in order to try to prevent, to help the person. And this is also a very dangerous area. And he's basically getting himself involved in things, but he's doing it actually out of a desire to help the person. And it's something that has to be taken very, very with the fear of heaven. On every step has to be the fear of heaven in order to do something like this. But there are times when he's honestly trying to help the other person out. Topic number 8. Similarly, it is permissible to publicize the character of an evil person and his evil deeds, so that other people will be warned about him and will take care not to be harmed by him, since the intention is to save others from harm. That's also the Klafis Kaim, the Laws of Lashon Hara, Chapter 3. So if the person that's being talked about is behaving in such a dangerous manner, it may be necessary to warn other people about this danger in order to prevent them from being damaged. And that, again, the same thing, the fear of God has to be upon the person doing the telling, to make certain that he is doing it for the right reasons, and that everything is designated specifically for the right reasons. Thank you.